An average of more than 5,000 Native American women go missing in the United States each and every year, and that's according to the National Crime Information Center.
A Fort Worth family knows this all too well as they continue searching for their teenage daughter who disappeared last year. The teen's cell phone and social media have gone silent. Our Dawn White's in Dallas with their plea for help.
She's your average teenager. She spends a lot of time in her room and on her phone.
What happened on December 28th, 2024 was anything but normal.
Woke up the next morning and she was gone. It's been a nightmare ever since that day.
Samantha Perez's 17-year-old daughter, Sarah Martinez, a high school junior, vanished.
She's not even reaching out to her friends that she's, hey, I'm okay. She hasn't reached out to anybody.
This home security video from outside the family's Fort Worth home, the night of Sarah's disappearance, raised alarm bells for Samantha.
There is a video of a man that is across the street from our home on the phone at 3:21 in the morning. And her location goes off at 3:27.
The family immediately filed a missing persons report with the Fort Worth Police Department. I reached out to Fort Worth Police about Sarah's case. In this email, a spokesperson declined an on-camera interview, and SAT investigators from the Missing Persons Unit are considering her an adult runaway. Samantha hired a private investigator who believes Sarah may have been trafficked.
We think she may have been coerced by somebody online who was maybe telling her that she could possibly have a better life somewhere else.
When somebody's missing, time is of the essence. It's precious.
The family got in touch with MMIW Texas Rematriate. MMIW stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and is symbolized by a red handprint.
Nobody prepares for the situation of their relative to go missing, especially a child, like in this situation. We created a flyer that has our logo on it, and we always add their tribe.
Chair Jody Voice Yellowfish says Native American women are often prime targets for human trafficking.
Because of our look, people mistake us for different races all of the time, and that's a plus for a trafficker.
Jody believes missing Indigenous women sometimes don't receive the same attention from police and the media as white women. A Sacramento State University study found 57% of missing women reports in the media are of white women. The Sovereign Bodies Institute gathers data on Indigenous people. It found 62% of MMIW cases were never included in missing person databases.
This is our latest flyer. We have increased her reward to $2,000.
Samantha has a message for her daughter and anyone else who may be with her.
Just call somebody, call home. We just need to know that she's okay. We need to hear her voice. And to let her know that we all love her and we miss her.
In Dallas, Dawn White, CBS News Texas. It's dark outside this radio station, but inside.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Longtime radio host Albert Oldcrow spreads the light.
I'd like to welcome you to Beyond Bows and Arrows, your weekly American Indian radio program brought to you every Sunday evening between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. here in the studios of KNON 89.3 FM, Dallas-Fort Worth.
The radio show started in 1983. It's the longest running Native American radio show in Texas.
Good to see everybody.
Albert joined Beyond Bows and Arrows in 1996.
At that time, it was in a two-story wooden house that I think the equipment kept it standing because it was old, very old. Matter of fact, the wooden slats, you could look down and see who came in the front door.
Almost 3 decades later, listeners can hear everything from flute and powwow music to contemporary rock and rap. We've been on the rise from a verse to a funeral. Through the host's massive Indigenous music collection.
We haven't disappeared. They tried to wipe us out through genocide, through boarding schools.
Albert's mom attended an Indian boarding school where kids were often abused, forced to assimilate and abandon their native culture.
She didn't show affection to her children. No I love yous, no I'm proud of you, no hugs.
Albert made a point to show affection to his kids.
Hey everybody, it is Jessica.
The show brings a feeling of nostalgia for host Jessica Johnson.
I've always listened to the show since the 80s.
Now Jessica's on the air where she shares more than just music with listeners.
Last week, we did a cooking class. If there's local shows going on, we'll discuss that. And the four of us, we speak a lot during the week, so we check in on what we've been doing and what's going on in the Native American community here in Dallas.
The host hopes the show brings attention to the Native American community here in the DFW Metroplex, but also that it brings in new listeners to Indigenous music.
There may be some young person out in the audience tuning in saying, I would like to try that. Hopefully that we bring some good entertainment and that this radio station will continue even after I go on and do other stuff.
The U.S. Census Bureau reports more than 100,000 Native Americans live in Texas.
It will happen.
The hosts hope to keep their voices and history alive, one note at a time. In Dallas,
Her message is, I love hearing these songs tonight.
Dawn White, CBS News Texas. In a store tucked off this busy road in Fort Worth.
How was your first experience here?
Dancing Iglesias makes sure customers feel welcomed at her new business, Flipstone Vintage and Thrift. Many of the people shopping for these eco-friendly finds may not be aware of an unusual fact.
We knew that it was ironic that we were a Native-owned business on White Settlement Road.
Dancing is a member of the Lakota tribe.
My mom didn't have those opportunities. I think for her life, she was just surviving. She was in boarding school, and her life was extremely traumatic.
Dancing is taking advantage of the opportunities her mother didn't have and co-owns the business with her sister, Lily. The sisters are born and raised in Tarrant County.
I think it gets people thinking and questioning more about, the history of white settlement, because they're like, that sounds weird.
The history of white settlement begins more than 180 years ago.
They are referring to white individuals who are settling amongst natives at the time.
Tarrant County College history instructor Adam Guerrero says General Edward Tarrant, whom Tarrant County is named after, commanded the Texas militia to attack Native Americans living in 7 indigenous villages beginning in 1841.
This is an extermination, that there's violence that's enacted against them later as they further push west. So indigenous populations here, they only had the option of they could stay and assimilate, or those who resisted or didn't want to go into reservations, well, then they would face the military.
Since then, I don't think that we have truly felt 100% welcome to be here or feel like we can exist fully. And being able to actually just claim being Indigenous out loud.
Dancing says she didn't feel completely comfortable publicly acknowledging her Native heritage until this year. The meaning behind the shop is much more than just a rack of clothes. The sisters hope the store can bring Indigenous history back into focus in Tarrant County.
I think it makes us more visible, and I hope that it continues to do that. And I honestly, in the future, would love to see more Native businesses open up in Fort Worth and even on this street. I think being on this street has made a really big statement of, that it's possible, just that you can take those steps that you're allowed to, even if it feels scary or it feels wrong, like opening an Indigenous business on White Settlement Road.
The sisters dream starting their business on a road with a painful history.
It is American history. It's Texas history. It's DFW history.
Can help them and Tarrant County's Indigenous people heal from the past while forging a new path for the future. In Tarrant County, Dawn White, CBS News Texas.
We're going 6 inches in the concrete here.
It's a blazing hot day on this North Texas ranch.
Then the paw prints will be going up this side right here.
With an even hotter mission for welder Michael Collins.
A cross 3 times the size of anything I've ever done.
This cross is 25.5 feet tall.
She hit me really hard. That smile, like I say, it was so contagious.
That smile belonged to 14-year-old Emily Pike. Michael is making this cross for her.
I knew I needed to do something to be a voice for Emily. The Indigenous women and children do not get the coverage that they should, that they deserve.
Emily vanished from a group home in Mesa, Arizona in late January. Her dismembered body was found 2 weeks later.
I just hope that each and every cross can help the communities heal, the families like this. And here, this one is going to San Carlos Apache Reservation in Arizona.
Emily is one of more than 5,000 Native American girls and women who are missing or murdered each year, according to the National Crime Information Center.
On the back on the bottom is where we need the MMIW sticker.
MMIW stands for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, and it hits close to home for Michael.
My mother's grandmother was full-blooded Comanche.
Michael has a highly personal reason for making these crosses, and one that helps him identify with the families who lost loved ones.
It's like living with an amputation. It's like living with a heart the size of a marble.
Michael's pain comes from losing his own son, Brady, in an accident 5 years ago.
About 4 months after his accident, he came to me in a dream. He said, "Dad, I want you to build me this."
Michael built his first cross for Brady.
And I've learned, rather than go down there and cry, I go down there and I thank God for every minute that I had with my son, the 26 years that I did have.
Emily's cross is the 7th Michael has made, with the help of welder Clark Brooks.
It's like a ministry. It's to give people peace, a place that people can go and remember their loved ones. And it comes from the heart.
The cross will have a Letters to Heaven box to help the community heal.
It's going to have 30 red handprints, 4 orange handprints, the tribal badge. Her name will be in pink with very large letters. MMIW will be painted on it.
Maybe they'll find out who done it. Maybe they'll get a couple of leads on who done this.
Investigators haven't caught Emily's killer. Her voice may have been silenced early, but her spirit speaks loudly, thanks to the man with a gift for turning metal into a mission.
This will last 100 years.
In Mineral Wells, Dawn White, CBS News Texas. A crisp building lines this Dallas street, turning the old into the new.
This is our old primary care clinic on the end of the building. Here we used to have, as you see, 6 exam rooms, and now in the brand new center we have 15.
Texas Native Health Chief Operations Officer Adam Shorter says the new building allows more space for additional dental, behavioral health, and substance abuse services.
Our brand new facility is 27,000 square feet, a big change from our last facility that was roughly around 6,000 square feet.
Texas Native Health has an on-site pharmacy that sees about 30 to 50 patients a day and fills more than 12,000 prescriptions a year. The nonprofit is also an urban Indian organization under the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, providing free care and programs for Texas's growing indigenous community.
Based on research that we've done with the U.S. Census of 2020, 220,000 people identified as Native American or other in the Dallas-Fort Worth, while 800,000 through the state of Texas.
Education is another big component, starting off with programs in kindergarten and continuing with higher education.
It helps college students pay their tuition. It helps with if somebody is trying to get a certain certification for their job, we'll help them pay for that and achieve that goal.
Construction is underway right now for this 3,000 square foot cultural center, which is slated to open next month. This is a rendering of what it should look like.
Our main space is for dance classes, dance troupe, events, meeting space, and the whole 9 yards.
The nonprofit opened its doors in 1971, and leaders hope the building expansion can bring care into the 21st century.
It's important to have a facility like this for the community members so that they can have and get the care that they need, tying in with cultural relevance and being able to tie the cultural aspect to their care.
Texas Native Health would like to expand in the future and open up facilities in Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. In Dallas, Dawn White, CBS News Texas.